You know, a possible example that I've seen a lot as a therapist and working with educators and probation professionals is simple requests get interpreted as demands. So let's say you're working with a youth and you just ask them to do something simple. Let's say you're in a classroom and you say like, hey, you know, would you mind being quiet, or you know, would you mind moving your seat from over here to over there, or would you mind like shutting the door for me? Just something really simple like that. And if you've ever done anything like that, if you've ever had the youth in those moments have a disproportionate reaction, like get extremely angry or extremely triggered in those moments, then there's a likelihood, and it's not an absolute, but it's a likelihood that that person has had some significant trauma in their lives, because it's such a disproportionate reaction. Like if you say, hey, can you please close the door when somebody comes in, and you do it in like a non-attacking tone of voice, and you're trying to be gentle with them, and they say like, screw you, I'm not doing that, don't tell me what to do, and they kind of, you can see this kind of narrative coming out of their mind. There's a high likelihood that they've been through some trauma in their life. And we're going to talk about a whole bunch more behavioral manifestations and psychological manifestations in a presentation later on in the course. But what is potentially happening in those moments is that even if it's for a few moments, the logical brain gets shut down because they are interpreting what you're doing as a threat to them. They're thinking this teacher or this therapist or whoever is a danger to me, is threatening to me, and that's getting activated by their hippocampus, their memory of the traumatic experience subconsciously, and also that in tandem with their amygdala, their limbic system, their emotional brain is basically getting triggered by all of that, and that again, it essentially shuts off the forebrain, the thinking brain. So being able to kind of do a simple request or respond to a simple request is interpreted as a very violent, attacking demand. It's like you said, hey, close the freaking door, screw you, close the freaking door, do it now or you're failing this class. Like if I ever said that as an educator to a youth, I would expect them to have a very adverse outburst to that, you know, especially with the youth that I work with. But even if you say it in a calm and gentle way, they can hear it that way because of the trauma. And that's what's extremely important to understand when thinking about trauma in the brain.